Hey Kev, let's follow this trail over here. This looks like there might be something waiting down there.
All right. Hey, wait a minute. Do you hear that?
Yeah, I thought it was just me. What the heck is that?
I don't know what that is. Whoa, do you smell that too?
That's unbelievable. Hey, look.
What the?
Hey, look, those branches are moving over there.
What the heck is that?
Holy cow, is that what I think it is? Look at that thing.
Oh my God.
It's a freaking Sasquatch.
Boom. Welcome to the Bigfoot Terror in the Woods Sightings and Encounters podcast. I am your host, W.J. Sheehan, author of the series of books, Bigfoot Terror in the Woods Sightings and Encounters. 28 volumes available on our website if you choose, BigfootTerrorInTheWoods.com. In audiobook, paperback, ebook, and Kindle. Just go to the website. There are viable links there. BigfootTerrorInTheWoods.com. They'll take you exactly where you want to go on Amazon. Or you can go fiddle around on Amazon and hunt and peck for what you're looking for. And also, folks, go to the shop. There's a lot of cool stuff on the website now in the shop. Hats, mugs, a lot of nice merchandise, you know. Christmas is coming.
It's not too soon to start shopping. Beat the rush. We might sell out.
Yeah. And as you can hear, my brother and co-host KJ is joining in. Kev, how you doing, man?
I'm doing all right. We had Halloween last night and a zillion trick-or-treaters for a change in my neighborhood, which was kind of fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
And a shout out too. The kids were so polite this year. It was ridiculous. Even the older kids were like, "Oh, make sure you have a nice evening," even though they were dressed like Freddy Krueger or something.
Watch out for those claws.
I'm telling you, I was blown away how polite everybody was. It was like, wow, what's going on?
Yeah. A sudden change of heart?
I don't know. How about you? Did you have any trick-or-treaters over there at the Ghoulish Mansion?
Well, Kev, first of all, I was working at the hospital last night.
That's right.
But no, I gave up on trick-or-treaters years ago. There's no kids in this neighborhood.
It's not the giant Bigfoot that scares them away on the front lawn with the glowing red eyes.
Obviously, Kev, this neighborhood really doesn't lend itself to being a good trick-or-treating spot, you know?
Yeah.
The houses are kind of dispersed. And you remember our old neighborhood, man. You could go back and forth like a pinball machine and collect the goods, one after another.
Yeah, and that's more how my house is. It's on a neighborhood like our old neighborhood.
Yeah.
I think they bust them in to walk around.
Well, a lot of people did. You remember people used to come from other neighborhoods to where we lived.
Definitely. Because you walk in, it's safe.
It was safe. It was easy to walk around on,
Unless you get hit by an Amazon truck. It was funny. Like last night, I was like, how? Like, that's the worst draw ever, being an Amazon or UPS delivery person on Halloween. Like, you're coming down this super busy street. A guy came to drop something at our house, but we sat outside with a little fire in the driveway giving candy out. I said to the Amazon guy, you need some candy? He's like, no, man, I got a truck full of candy.
I got a truck full of candy. Hey,
but it was a ghoulish night. A lot of creepy creatures walking around.
Yeah, no, I like it. I kind of I look forward to the trick-or-treaters. And when we first moved here, I used to have, a good amount of stuff ready and like nothing. And I was like, oh, boy.
Yeah.
And it never changed. It really.
Well, it's a busy road. Like you got even though you're close to a school, which is good, in the school zone, you still got the double yellowish line, which scares kids away.
And plus the Corvette driver drag racing up and down the street is keeping the children at bay.
True that.
Here he comes again, honey. Hi, Junior.
And the animatronic dog man lurking behind the bushes.
Hey, Kev, listen, I'm not sure if you're going to read this email or not. And if you do, we'll just touch on it again or bypass it. But somebody had written in about our change of our format. And I thought it was worth mentioning, like, why we did it. And folks, you know, Kevin and I, as you've seen, if you're a follower, the past 3-4 episodes, we're leading in with Bigfoot accounts because we had a conversation that, you know, a lot of people who tune in maybe for the first time, and they're saying, oh, cool, Bigfoot terror in the woods. And we come in talking about, you know, ghosts or UFOs or whatnot. We kind of felt it might have been a little bit of a turnoff, right, Kev?
Well, yeah, and we got feedback on that front.
Yeah.
You know, why is this guy talking about Mothman when it's a Bigfoot
Exactly.
podcast? So we said, hey, an easy thing to do is just switch up the batting order. You know, maybe we'll get on base a little bit more.
Like Toronto.
Put Bill in the leadoff. And so we switched it, but we did get some email. I was going to read a couple of those emails today, Bill. Maybe I still will, you know, just saying, hey, love the podcast, but I don't know why you switched up the batting order, so to speak. So.
Yeah, and that's why we did it. It's the same information we're going to bring. We just, like Kev says, we changed the batting order.
And the same amount of time dedicated to each, too. So
exactly. So we hope everybody's on board with that. And we meant no harm, no foul in doing it. But again, if you're tuning into a Bigfoot podcast and the guys start talking about Transylvania and Frankenstein, you know, it's like, huh?
And I wasn't going to mention it, Bill, but I got a lot of direct emails just to me, worried that I was demoted.
Demoted?
What's the story? How come you're not in the leadoff spot anymore?
Well, at a batting average of 212, we had to put Joey Blowy in there. But I got something really cool here, Kev. And I'm going to, you know, folks, once in a while, if you're a long-time listener, you've heard this account way back when. But, of course, newer people and those who don't go back to 300 episodes listening to every one of them, which I'm sure is most people. This is one of the most incredible accounts that I've ever taken. And let me get into it here because you're really not going to believe the circumstances involving this account. Now, this story was brought to my attention by a fellow named Billy Bills, and yes, that's his name. And from this point forward, it will be Billy and his hiking partner Rex sharing the events that they had experienced during their night hike. Rex and I had done this hike numerous times, Bill, during different months of the year, each providing us with a different set of challenges. In particular, during the winter, the snow near the summit can be waist deep. Regardless of that, during any winter or even late spring hikes, you will most definitely need walking poles and spikes. This is an extremely difficult hike in anyone's book. And I'm sure many people turn back after having begun it. Now, I have to tell you, folks, they were on Mount Rose. If you're familiar with that, Mount Rose. The left side of the trail can be quite treacherous, presenting you with many switchbacks and some very steep inclines, where you are more mountain climbing than hiking. From Hoodsport, you head west 9 miles on Lake Cushman Road until you reach Forest Service Road number 24. Turning left, we proceed 3 miles and you see the trailhead sign on your right. Now, there are several things I will caution your readers or listeners about. During this hike, you are virtually enclosed in the forest the entire time. And on many occasions, after you reach the summit, you find that you're now encased in fog, obscuring all of your views. But on the right day, from the top, you can see Mounts Rainier, Adams, and St. Helens. Further off in the distance, you are looking at the Olympics, and below you is Lake Cushman, which is breathtaking in and of itself. There are also times of the year when the weather's warm that the yellow jackets are swarming. There are so many of them you can loudly hear them as you're approaching, and they will attack you. Now that I have thoroughly discouraged you, let me say this. When things and conditions go right, this hike is one for the books, well worth the effort. Although it's touted to be some 5.5 miles in length, on my GPS, I've clocked it at more or less 7.5 miles. I would also advise anyone to bring twice as much water as they think they will need. And if you have sore feet, bring Band-Aids as well. Now, the last time that Billy and I were in here, we hiked up on a cougar that was less than 10 feet from the trail, and it took off like a rocket. This time around, we were planning to do our second night hike. There are absolutely no words to describe sitting at the summit at 4 a.m. under the canopy of the night sky. I actually pity humanity for not experiencing such beauty in their lifetime. So, Rex and I were getting set to go. And now I'm switching back and forth between the two guys talking here. Rex and I were getting set to go. And it was about 1:15 a.m. when we began the hike. It was late July of 2010, and the night was pristine, to say the least. Being well familiar with this trail, we had made it to the summit in about 2.5 hours. I must warn you also that the hike begins at about 700 feet of elevation, and at the peak, you're at 4,300 feet. I only say that because this hike is steep and arduous, and the entire time that you're in it. Having achieved the summit, we laid back on our packs, enveloped by the night sky. As I was laying there, I felt as though the sky was drawing me into itself, and I was thinking that I was at one with the universe. Mere words cannot describe what we were feeling at that time. After about 90 minutes, perhaps, we began our descent down the right-hand side of the summit. This side being somewhat easier than the left, and of course we were now going downhill as well. Now, I must say that for those of you who are not night owls, your eyes do actually get quite accustomed to the dark, and you can see reasonably well, all things considered. On this trail, you are literally in the trees the entire time, with only a few occasional breaks overlooking the slopes and some well-dispersed living and dead timber. It was during one of these breaks that I was certain I had seen something large and dark move quickly across a small clearing on the slope. The area it had moved across was maybe 30 or 40 feet away, tops, and whatever it was tall and large. We conversed briefly, kicking it around as to what it could have been, continuing our hike. A few minutes later, both of us heard what was clearly some rocks and debris tumbling down the same slope to our right. Now, understand me, please. When you're in these conditions hiking in the dark, your senses are most certainly heightened, and we began to feel like we were being stalked and or watched, and we were far from reaching the bottom. The difficulty became keeping our focus on the trail and our footing in the dark, while still being acutely aware that something was definitely flanking our movements on the slope. So we kept walking, all the while still hearing noises which were becoming increasingly unnerving to the two of us. At this point in time, we were not keeping silent and were actually shouting things like, "Go away!" and trying to scare off whatever this was. Now, we had just passed through a switchback that opens up to about a 150-foot, somewhat straight run of trail ahead of us when we both came to a sudden halt. Ahead of us, perhaps 75 feet away, was a glaring pair of bright red eyes peering directly at us in the darkness. These eyes were set very widely apart and were more than 10 feet from the ground. In the moment, I felt as though they were almost having a hypnotic effect on me, but I tried to focus on the rest of the image that was before us. Even in the darkness, I could make out a clear outline of something of enormous stature that was rocking from side to side. As we were standing there looking at these eyes, Billy was standing slightly behind me on the trail. He bent down to grab a large rock and hurled it at this thing, hitting it squarely as he shouted, "Get the hell out of here!" Well, when I tell you that all hell broke loose, that would be an understatement. This thing let out a screaming roar that words cannot describe. I thought it would knock us down, and it was deafening. The two of us turned simultaneously to run back up the trail. I don't think we were 30 feet into our retreat when I heard Rex let out a scream. I turned, and Rex was now on his back, laying on the ground groaning. And this thing that I saw now was a beast, was now standing over him, screaming with its mouth wide open and contorting its upper body. I was now maybe 10 feet at best away from the enormous roaring Bigfoot standing over my best friend. In the heat of the moment, I guess I did what anyone would have done. I took one of my walking sticks, which were nothing more than winter ski poles with the rings removed from them, and I flung it at this beast sidearm like a whirling sword. Surely God must have been with us that day because it hit him squarely in the face. I believe it hit him right in the eye. I say that because the beast immediately put both its hands to its face and started screaming and staggering around on the trail. I now had Rex on the ground, reeling in apparent pain, and a Bigfoot staggering around and screaming in front of me. Hold on just a second. I don't think 10 seconds later that the Bigfoot, while holding its hands to its face, lost its footing on the edge of the trail and fell off the side, tumbling down the slope. I knew I had to move and move quickly, so I ran to Rex. As I tried to grab him, he said his shoulder was broken. He couldn't move his arm, and he was in obvious pain. I told him, "Rex, brother, you have to get up or this thing will kill us. We have to get the move on now." I pulled his pack off, got him to his feet, and we started moving down the trail. Rex was writhing in pain, but he was moving, and this Bigfoot was screaming and howling on the side of the slope now behind us. I think a combination of adrenaline and fear had taken over Rex because he was now moving quickly with my help. For some 15 minutes, we could still hear this beast groaning and screaming from behind us. In a moment, I could only think about David slaying Goliath in the biblical narrative with one smooth stone. Eventually, the sounds of the beast were gone, and we had covered a considerable distance. We reached a point where we could see that the sun was beginning to rise, and all I could think of was that we were now safe. It's funny now, but in my mind I actually thought of Dracula not being able to stand sunlight, and I was thinking the same about the Bigfoot. All that Billy has been telling you is exactly what happened. We were now nearing the trailhead and the safety of our vehicle. And when we finally got to the car, another vehicle was pulling over to begin a day's hike. When they saw us and the condition I was in, they asked what had happened. I needed medical attention, so we wasted no time. We told them we had been attacked by a Bigfoot that was still up there somewhere and that we had hit him in the eye with a ski pole and ran. Their jaws dropped. We jumped in the car and took off, and we could see them doing the same. When we made it to the hospital, the doctor asked us what happened, and you could imagine what that led to. After some x-rays were taken, we found that Rex had fractured his clavicle, which, although it was quite painful, was not as bad as it could have been. And after a sling was applied, he was feeling a lot better. So, folks, I then asked these two guys to fill in any of the details surrounding this event, and this is what they said. As you already know, Bill, this all happened quite a few years ago. But when we were in the hospital, Rex told me that as soon as we had started to attempt running back up the trail, this creature had grabbed his backpack, slamming him to the rocky ground on his back. He knew immediately that something had broken in his body. Rex said that his body was shaking as this thing stood over him, roaring down at him. This was obviously retribution for being hit with the rock. And who knows, it may have killed both of us right then and there. Even in the darkness, when we were finally all in close quarters, I could see the immensity of this beast. I thought I would collapse from fear alone right on the spot. But something welled up within me, and I hurled this ski pole. I guess it was an all or nothing at all fight or flight response. And to be honest with you, I believe there was some divine intervention working for me with that ski pole's flight that night, because I firmly believe the pointed end of the pole went right into its eye. The way this thing was staggering and screaming, falling off the side edge of the slope, he had to have had his eye knocked out. And when I was on the ground and I looked up, seeing this thing leaning over me, I can't tell you how frightened I was. Billy saved our lives that day, I'm sure. And if it wasn't for his quick reaction, I believe we would have been killed or maimed by this thing, both of us. I was 15 feet away from it when I let the pole fly. It had to be close to 12 feet tall and as wide as a barn door. The sound of its roar actually made the skin on my face vibrate. It must have weighed well over 1,000 pounds, possibly much greater. And that may well be an understatement. We have never gone back there again and wonder every day about those who do. Well, folks, that'll make you think twice about walking around in the dark unarmed, won't it?
Wow.
Oh,
Yeah, so out there in the Olympic National Forest in Washington State, Mount Rose, boy, that's a rural place. And what a description, Bill. The roar made the skin on my face vibrate.
Yeah, I mean, you can picture actual pressure.
I mean, I've never heard a description like that, and it's like, that's a fantastic description.
Well, listen, a good friend of the podcast, my buddy Rich up in Washington, I know Rich is listening, and Rich is building a house in Idaho, a pole barn type structure that he's separating into living space. Rich was in his house working. He goes out there periodically doing the build. He lives in Washington. He drives 7 hours to Idaho each trip and 7 hours home doing work. The house is almost done. He was in the house a couple of months back by himself with headphones on for entertainment. and doing some work. He had a loaded shotgun in the house, and he also had his iPhone on him. I'm setting the stage for what happened. So Rich is inside the house working, and something outside the house starts letting out some type of screaming, howling roar that just shook him to his core within the building. And this is ongoing. So now he steps out, leaving the shotgun in the house. Now, folks, we talk about this all the time, how what you think should happen doesn't always happen in the moment. So he leaves his shotgun in the house, has an iPhone on him, which he could put on like video and record the noise. He doesn't do either. He goes outside. This thing is still howling and screaming, and then it stops. And he could hear it coming down from, like, let's just say in front of his house, down this hill. The house is on an upgrade or up on the side of, like, this mountain. And it stops. And he said, like a fire siren going off. Where have we heard that before? A train whistle. I mean, anybody knows when you're next to the firehouse or by the train station, when you get a couple of blasts of the horn, that is loud in human perspective, you know. And the skin on his face was vibrating. Crazy, Kev, huh?
Unbelievable description and apt description. I mean, I've always heard the train whistle, like you mentioned, which is just, you know, train whistle is loud. Like we have a train that comes through probably about 5 or 6 miles from our house here in North Carolina, you know, in the morning. Fortunately, not at 5 o'clock or something like that. But if you're outside, you can hear that train whistle, and it's pretty far away.
Yeah, yeah. I remember we could hear the Ronkonkoma train whistle once in a while. I think it depended on, like, the way the wind was blowing or whatever, but you'd hear that thing bark, and that was a long way away from where we lived. Crazy,
Exactly.
Man.
Exactly.
Can you imagine hiking in the dark on the side, some type of precarious trail, you know, and seeing something large moving on the slopes below you? Like,
Yeah, I have, you know, I'm outdoors a lot. I have never done a night hike, but I know I did a night paddle one time, a guided paddle with this guide on a river here in North Carolina called the Eno River, E-N-O, out near Chapel Hill. And we did it at midnight. A few of us got in kayaks with this guide and went down the Eno River just for a couple of hours. And I'm telling you, you could not see a thing. Like you could not see your hand in front of your face.
And you're paddling?
Paddling, yeah.
Oh, my God.
We did it for a thrill, of course.
Uh-huh.
And this guy was really experienced. But the thing that scared the heck out of us was apparently we came upon some beavers, but you couldn't see them. And they were like, they do this thing where to scare you away or to alert their pals, they whap their tail on the water. But it sounds, Bill, I swear, like people are throwing bowling balls at you.
Yeah, it's a loud crack when they do that.
And the water's flying, you know, we're getting wet, and it's like kaboom, you know, and the water flies. I'm like, what the heck is going on? Like, who's throwing bowling balls at us? And we're in kayaks, you know.
Wow.
So I could imagine coming across a creature like this, you know, again, in the super wilderness up there and looking over Lake Cushman. And climbing Mount Rose in the Olympic Peninsula or Olympic National Forest. That's crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. And we have a listener, good friend of the podcast, who's on a search and rescue team, and their assignment is the Olympic National Forest. So if you're listening, my friend, you know, give me a call. We speak periodically. Give me a call and let me know if you've ever done the Mount Rose trail. Now, look, I'm not there. I don't know how many trails there are. He may be well familiar with what this guy's talking about. But I can't. And, you know, kept talking about the beavers. I mean, there are accounts of Bigfoot bombarding or throwing rocks at boaters or people in the water. Maybe they're trying to scare them away or get their attention.
No, yeah,
You know?
no doubt about it. Yeah,
Crazy, huh, man?
cool stuff.
So what do we have in our cryptids in the news and other oddities?
Yeah, we're going to do a little bit of other oddities and a little creepiness, okay? And we're going to be talking about what's known as the Little Bastard. And I'm not talking about myself. But you know what? Do you know what the Little Bastard is, Bill?
Well, I don't want to let on. I'm going to let you continue. I
Okay.
work with a couple.
You don't want to gamble. You know a lot of little bastards.
I was going to say I work with a couple of little bastards.
No, what I'm referring to is the actor James Dean had a Porsche that he bought. And, unfortunately, he died in the Porsche shortly after he got it. And the car, developed the moniker called the Little Bastard. Mm-hmm. And we're going to talk about why that's true. But first, let's talk about the car. So the car was a Porsche 550 Spider. And I didn't realize this until I started looking into it. Like, I thought he was driving one of the early production Porsche, the 356, which is like the predecessor to the 911, the little convertible. You see some of the movie stars driving these days out in Hollywood that they made from the late 40s all the way up to 1965 before they brought out the first 911. Mm-hmm. And, it looks a little bit like a Volkswagen and stuff like that. But in fact, this Spider was a mid-engine racing car that was produced by Porsche from 53 to 56. So real short run. And maybe, I don't know, because it was so dangerous, right?
Yeah, now it actually had, I did know about this, it actually had the previous owner prior to Dean painted the Little Bastard on the back of the car.
Oh, okay. I didn't even come across that. That was his name.
Yeah, no, he had painted it on the car, as a race car, whatever you would name your car,
Yeah, maybe that was a little hint of what was going to come.
Yeah, the Little Bastard,
But this car, just to get a feel for how dangerous it was, too. So it's mid-engine, really low slung. For those of you that are old enough to remember the Speed Racer animated show on TV with Speed Racer and Racer X, it looks a little bit like a toned down version of Speed Racer's car.
Yeah, and back then you had do you remember the Chaparral?
Yeah.
So there was a couple of cars around that was similar to that. Mid-engine, really low, kind of like Ford's original or newer Cobra design, really flat and...
Yeah, even lower slung than the original Cobra.
Right.
No windshield, by the way, just like this little tiny bubble in front of the steering wheel, but only about as high as the steering wheel.
Yeah.
No roof at all, and very importantly, no roll cage at all.
Yeah.
Whereas the Cobra had the roll cage,
right,
which was much needed.
If you flipped, bye-bye.
You're dead. You're dead.
Yep.
Of course, it probably didn't even have seatbelts, right?
Well, yeah.
So let's get back to what happened and why this car had this creepy reputation. So, it was in September 30th, so around this time of the year, 1955. The red hot actor at the time, James Dean, who was only 24 years old, right? It's hard to believe, right? Mm-hmm. He's taking his little Porsche, the 550 Spider, the Little Bastard, to a race in Salinas, California. And on the way there, he collides with a Ford truck, and the impact is catastrophic. So Dean, who's 24, they think is killed instantly. His mechanic is thrown from the car and severely injured. So terrible day for, Hollywood, for James Dean, of course, and his mechanic.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So it's like, okay, that's bad. But when they look into this a little bit more and start talking to people, the actor Alec Guinness, 7 days before, James Dean is showing the car to Alec Guinness, and Alec Guinness has a quote of saying, "If you get in that car, you'll be found dead in it by this time next week."
Wow.
Yeah.
Man,
Just knowing how hot that car was, how dangerous it was, and I guess how edgy and daring James Dean was, Alec Guinness told him, "If you get in that car, you'll be found dead in it by this time next week."
Wow. And now a lot of people don't know who Alec Guinness was, but I can actually see his face in my mind's eye right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go ahead, Kev. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that's good. So there's more incidents that happen in this timeline, believe it or not, even after James Dean is killed.
Yeah.
So, the car customizer, Bill, famous car guy named George Barris.
Yeah, he did the Monster Mobile.
The Monster Mobile, exactly,
Yeah, yep.
exactly. So he buys the wreck of James Dean's Porsche for $2,500, and while it's being unloaded at George Barris's shop, it falls off of the truck and breaks his mechanic's leg.
Oh, John, but it's like this freaking car has a curse on it.
Well, yeah, it gets worse.
Yeah.
So then Barris sells the engine to the car and the drivetrain to the car. So two different things, right? To two different doctors, Troy McHenry and William Eskrid. And these two doctors are racing against one another with their own Porsches, one with the new engine in it from James Dean's car, and the other with the new drivetrain in it from James Dean's car.
And they're racing against each other.
Against each other.
Oh, my God.
And McHenry hits a tree and is killed. And Eskridge, who had the drivetrain, is seriously injured when his car rolls over.
Oh, man, you can't make this up. It's like
No, you can't make it up.
anybody who's in contact with this thing is getting
It
killed or maimed.
It gets worse. So that's
Worse?
a year after James Dean dies.
Right.
And after the car falls off of the truck and breaks the leg of George Barris's mechanic. And then in 1957, 1 year after that, and this gets into a little bit of the legend here, but this is, it goes along with the whole written account of this car, the Little Bastard. Two of the car's tires, which were also sold, they were undamaged, when James Dean wrecked the car, both reportedly blow out simultaneously when the new owner is driving his car with these tires on it, and the new owner skids off of the road, and almost gets seriously hurt.
Oh, my God, just the tires. Anything that belonged to that car and the car itself was just like, my God.
All right, it gets better. It keeps going, man, in a short amount of time.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah. So in 1958 to 1959, the car's shell, right, of the wreck is loaned to the California Highway Patrol for a safety exhibit. You know how they show that, right? Like they have a wrecked car. They still do it these days, and the police show it like for drunk driving or whatever.
Right, just to let you know what the results could be if you get...
Bad things can happen.
Yeah,
right?
Yep.
So they have it, they have it on display in Fresno, and they're storing it there first. And there's a fire, and everything in the garage is destroyed except for the car.
Unbelievable.
I don't even know how that happens.
Yeah, it's like it was untouched. Like in that circumstance, it was like, look, you can't destroy me. That kind of thing,
Yep.
And the whole place was destroyed and the car's sitting there.
It gets better.
Oh, my God.
So then or worse. Then when they're transporting the car after that, the truck driver driving the truck loses control of the truck and is killed. It's like a demon car.
Yeah, it just doesn't quit. Everybody who comes in contact with it in any way gets maimed or killed. Oh, my God.
Or at least hurt.
You can't make this up. And this is factual stuff.
Well, we think so.
Yeah.
And then in 1960, the final chapter, so to speak, the car is being transported in a sealed boxcar from Miami to Los Angeles, right, on the train. And somehow this car vanishes. The train car vanishes, and the car itself vanishes, and it's never been seen again. So no one knows what happened to this car.
The train car vanished.
Well, they lost lost the inventory. I don't think the car actually went into
I was going to
ether,
say. But the fact that this thing is now suddenly untraceable, like, first of all, it had to reach a rail station where there was a dock that the car could pull up to, and some forklift or something could go in the door and take it out, or something, but nobody has a record of what happened to it or what day or time that occurred.
Right, and the car never turned up again.
Wow. So somewhere out there, the little bastard is somewhere, and nobody's come up with it. Maybe somebody
and just
did
so
it.
you know, Bill, if you come up with it, I'm not getting in it, and I'm not standing next to it.
Well, there's nothing left of it but a wrecked body.
But I mean, come on. If you got a hubcap from it, I'm not touching it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't think
Something's
the car
going
had
on with this
hubcaps.
thing.
It probably had spin-offs. Oh, my God, you can't make it up.
Yeah.
What a horrific series of... Now, didn't something happen to the guy who sold the car to Dean before Dean got it?
That could be. I didn't come across that, but it certainly could be.
Yeah, I thought there was something predating...
There's a lot out there on this vehicle.
Yeah, no.
The legend of this vehicle. So
unbelievable.
Yeah, the Little Bastard.
Oh, wow. I could think of another word to describe it besides bastard. Oh, my God.
Yeah,
wow.
Wild.
What a crazy, crazy thing. Are there any pictures available of the Little Bastard?
There is a couple of pictures on it. If you Google Images, James Dean's Little Bastard, you'll see some pictures of it.
Wow.
And it's a hot looking car, but it is a very dangerous looking car.
Yeah. Well, back then, remember the old F1 where they refueled and cars used to flip and roll? They didn't have any of the safety stuff in place that we have now.
Well, again, we didn't have seatbelts. But the interesting thing is this car compared to the 356 that came after it, like the 356 looks like a smushed down Volkswagen, and it basically had a Volkswagen engine in it too.
Yeah.
So that didn't look dangerous at all. It's cool looking, but it didn't look dangerous. This thing looks dangerous.
What kind of engine was in that thing, I wonder?
I don't know, but mid-engine, so it's got to be, something special for it.
Yeah, I would think it had to be some type of V8 configuration, though.
Oh, no, it's smaller than that, Bill. It's
really?
Mid-engine, little, yeah. This is a little tiny car.
Yeah. So just some hopped up 6-cylinder overhead cam, dual carburation.
Maybe a 4. Something custom built for this thing.
Yeah, amazing, man.
Yeah.
Wow, that was really cool, Kev. The Little Bastard.
That's a cool story. And, of course, there's so much lore about James Dean. Many years ago, I was in Spain, just a little side story. And down, we were west, I think we were west of Barcelona, up in the hills, but still near the coast. And James Dean, I think he still has it, but we went to a vineyard that was originally owned by James Dean. And it was pretty cool, a small little vineyard. And when he bought it, the agreement was that all of the wine would only go to this famous restaurant in Hollywood. It might have been the Brown Derby restaurant, but I can't recall off the top of my head. But it was pretty cool, like the mystique that this guy, when he first made it big, remember, he died when he was 24. He ended up buying this little vineyard, this beautiful little vineyard in Spain, and making this agreement with a restaurant in Hollywood that they would be the only ones that got the wine.
Wow. Boy, Kev, I'm telling you, man. There's some things in life that are just unexplainable. You're left pondering and wondering, what could do such a thing? What could cause such a thing?
Yeah.
And this is certainly one of those things for anybody who knows the story, and now a whole bunch of people know the story. What the heck was going on surrounding this car?
100%.
I mean, it's just like a trail of breadcrumbs, poisonous breadcrumbs.
Poisonous breadcrumbs.
And anybody who grabs one and munches on it just drops dead on the trail or is, maimed or sickened or whatever. I mean, just incredible the amount of devastation surrounding this car. Wow.
100%.
Wow, Kev, good job with that. So what do we have in our listener mail today?
Yeah, so we previewed one of the letters that I'm going to read, but I'll mention it. Eric wrote in, and the subject is, "Don't break what was working. The new format isn't cutting it." And Eric is a fan. So he says, "I just listened to the latest podcast, it's been about a month or so since you switched format, and I got to tell you, this new format just isn't working for me. The old format with KJ leading into the show with oddities was the perfect setup, and it led to the anticipation of creepy Bigfoot stories. Mm-hmm. The cadence was spot on. As a longtime listener and fan, please rethink this and go back to what was working so well before. It was perfect. The banter that it created between you just isn't there now." Thank you, but thanks, Eric. I'm not making fun of you. We really appreciate the feedback, and folks, let us know. We changed it up. We thought it would be a little different. We like it still. We get a lot of positive feedback on the change up too, but I didn't want to only mention the good news. So.
Well, Kev, any change that occurs, there are going to be those who love it and those who don't.
Yeah, I mean, generally, we don't like change as humans.
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
Especially if you've been with us for a couple of hundred episodes.
Yeah,
100%. But it's still me and you. We're still talking about the same things, just in a different order.
And we're still bantering.
Still bantering.
Banter. I got the banter meter going. We're definitely bantering.
Well,
cool. All right, one more, Bill.
Okay.
So, let's see who wrote this one. From Scott, and his subject is huge fans. So, thank you, Scott. He says, "Hi, both." I think that's me and you, Bill. "I honestly have no opinion either way on what Bigfoot is. More human or more animal. If I see one, I might then have an update on my opinion. I found out about your books by the show you did with Wes on Sasquatch Chronicles, and then recently discovered you have a show and a website as well. That is great. Wanted to let you know I think your show is fantastic." He writes in parentheses, that was for Bill. "I use the word often as well. The show format is great, and I'm happy to listen to you two as often as I can. Mm-hmm. I recently purchased your ebooks on Amazon prior to me funding your show and website. I listen on Spotify. Now that I know that they are being converted to audio, even better. Mm-hmm. I listen to the show with my son, who's 11 years old, and he enjoys it too. I wanted to ask what the image is for your page." He says, and I think he's talking about the book covers, Bill. And that we have one of the book covers on the website. He said, "It looks like tree branches in the night sky, but wanted to make sure I wasn't missing something that was hidden in there. Keep up the great work, you two. We live in northern Colorado. I also wanted to say, whenever we visit Costco or Sam's Club, I always go to a demo computer on the aisle and type in your website and leave it open. Mm-hmm. It's the least I can do to do some advertising for you in my own way. I'm sure the show takes tremendous amount of work, and it's appreciated by all of us. I think maybe when I retire, I would like to do a show like yours, or join yours if you're still going. It's going to be a while until then. Scott Z."
Scott Z.
So good stuff, Scott. Thanks for doing that clever thing of putting in our URL on the demo computers. We got to get some more people doing that. Go up to Best Buy and the Apple Store and load up all the computers with Bigfoot terror in the woods.
Yeah, when you walk in, every screen has Bigfoot there, and the manager's like, "What's going on here?"
I'm going to start doing it, Bill. I'm going up to the mall later. I'm going to walk into the Apple store and type the URL into all the machines. Guy's going to be like, "What are you doing?" And I'll be like,
"Oh, nothing."
What do you got against Bigfoot, buddy?
Oh, man.
I know where you live. And by the way, some black-eyed children may come your way.
Oh, my goodness, man. You know, I don't even know why I'm going to mention this. No, I'm not going to at this time.
All right.
But great show, man. Great mail. Love that Little Bastard account. And, of course, the Mount Rose Night Trail encounter for the record books, man. You just
Fantastic.
can't make it up. And, folks, that leads me into this. If you find yourself hiking around the Olympic National Forest, or anywhere else for that matter, you best remember what Rex said. Always carry more gun than you think you're going to need. Sleep tight.